Oh, there we are.
All right. All right. Greetings, printing enthusiasts. Thank you for joining us for another episode of How Would You Slice That? My name is Vicky Soma. My co host is Dr. Lawrence Nightingale. If you're not familiar with the show, what we try to do is on Tuesdays that are prime numbers, we like to live stream and we like to balance some community conversation time with maybe learning some tips and tricks or something about our slicers. um, Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different. Unfortunately, we lost contact with our guest, and we're hoping everything's okay. So Lawrence and I are just going to wing it tonight, so we might be a little more heavy on the conversation time. So there's some things I can demo if you bear with me. They won't be the most polished demos. So Lawrence, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Vicky. Yeah. Just got done. Got done with Easter. Took a trip to a museum this weekend. Realized at the end of the weekend that I needed to print some stuff, and then my printer had a like. Well, I had my printer kind of reminded me that I had a failure, and the failure got more and more complex
Oh no.
throughout the
Oh
weekend.
no.
Yeah, yeah. So have oh,
Wait. What did it start with, and then how did it snowball?
it started with me printing some coins for work. We've got an honors program here at the college, and I printed coins with the QR code on one side and like a logo on the other. Actually, it's a it is a yeah, with the logo on the other. And so I bought filament from Micro Center, the Micro Center brand,
Hmm.
and because they sell so much of it, I allowed myself to think that everything was just going to be fine. Like whatever quality issues I ran into when they first started selling filament, it was going to be okay because they sell reams and reams and reams of it. And well, the micro center filament was got clogged. I got one color of filament stuck in my printer,
Okay.
and it stuck so bad that I do not know why my printer didn't understand that I had a filament jam, because it continued the drive wheel continued to run, or the drive wheel on the motor of the drive wheel continued to run for like 2 or 3 hours, and it essentially stripped the plastic drive wheel on it. Right, so you've got a large wheel, and you've got the
Hmm.
and you got the essentially a dual extruder on both sides with the bamboo. Large wheel got stripped down, so I had another wheel that I had saved for just such an occasion, as a matter of fact. And so I just took the old one out, put the old new one in. If I was ready to go, that didn't work. So I said, well, maybe Lawrence, you have a tendency to kind of hold on to stuff, even though it's kind of maybe a little bit less than perfect. Maybe I put a less than perfect drive wheel back in there. So go ahead and go to Micro Center and get another drive wheel. So I will go to Micro Center and get another like extruder. And so went to Micro Center. They did not have the extruder, so I wound up getting another drive wheel. And I went back and I checked my printer just to see, well, maybe I might have a little bit of a problem with the nozzle. So I bought a new nozzle, put the new nozzle on, went back in with the drive wheel. The drive wheel turned, and I set it to motion, and I had two spectacular failures within a couple of hours. So now I'm thinking to myself, I need to maybe replace my extruder motor on my Bamboo, because maybe something happened to the actual central gear that turns the drive wheel, and that was my problem. So my printer is out of commission for at least a week till I can get those supplies in. But I wasn't
Are
a
you?
happy camper.
I mean, other than the supplies, are you finding the act of repairing the bamboo to seem okay? Because I know when they first came out, there was concerns with people about the repairability of the machines.
I was really startled the first time that I took it apart to fix something. You know, with rip wrap style things, you take your hot end, It's connected to the extruder. You take the extruder out, you unplug your thermistor and your heater, and you got one unit there. And you don't really have to worry too much about breaking the wires or anything like that. But with Bambu, it works with ribbons, wire ribbons. And so the wire ribbons really make you kind of think about how delicate the whole thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have a little bit of growing pains with it, as a matter of fact. I foolishly allowed myself to try to make a few repairs while the unit was still powered, and I shorted out all my boards. That was last summer. And so I had to replace all those guys, and I replaced the power source. It was under warranty, but still, though, like, it's almost like having to hold your breath until that stuff shows up, and then you put it in, and you're like, is it going to work? So I think that the repairability of them is a little bit, I'd probably say 20% more challenging than rip-wrap style 3D printers, because, it is a commercial unit. And anytime, something that's like highly manufactured and put together, the way that they've done it, like everything kind of pre-planned for you, taking something apart and putting it back together the same way that the manufacturer did, kind of raises the pressure a little bit. So that's where the skill level comes in. The chute in the back that shoots out the poop, you kind of have to push it from behind and put the screws in from the front. That's not an easy thing. A couple of the boards, like when you try to lift them out, you have to be careful of things that are underneath it. And once again, the ribbons are a big deal, and you got to really pay attention to where the connectors go back in and things like that. So it is more challenging, yes. And I think that the plus and the minus of Bambu is that the plus is that, when you get it and it runs and it works well, it works well. But when it doesn't work well, it really kind of sends you off in the left field. I literally was like, man, I don't know. I think I better throw it away. And I've never felt that way. Never felt that way about a printer before. Yeah, if the extruder went bad, you can just get another extruder. If the hot end was messed up, or the nozzle was messed up, you can get an upgrade and actually look forward to it. With Bambu, it's a whole different thing. It's either you have to wait for it, or hope somebody has the parts in stock. I'm really glad they have the parts in stock now at Micro Center. But the kind of the level of patience that you have with the Bambus is not there, because it's like they're selling them as if they're a toaster, and set it and forget it and be done. And the reality of the use of them is not always like that. Vastly more reliable than my rep style printers were, because didn't have auto level. Then I added auto level. Then there was different sensors, and a lot of mess around with the firmware and stuff like that. And so the repairability when it comes into play, it's a different dynamic. So it's, of course, it's still worth it, but still, though, it's a different dynamic. You think about it very, very differently.
I commend you. You are way more intimately familiar to your Bambus than I am, and because of that reputation of the repairability or lack thereof. The first time my son wanted to switch into a 0.2 nozzle, I'm like, oh, this is going to be an afternoon. But it turned out I was so pleasantly surprised, like, oh, joop, done.
So, switch it right out.
He does it himself now. He'll switch between the nozzles all by himself.
The 0.2 nozzle, and the intricacies of the temperature and the flow rate and stuff like that with the 0.2, I never had any issues with it. And now I'm going back and thinking about all the mistakes I've made in my life, because I'm looking at this particular problem right now. I think that the 0.2 nozzles across the board, no matter whether it was Bambu or any other manufacturer, the 0.2 nozzles are susceptible to clogging, because like every other filament that you have out there has some kind of glitter in it, or has some kind of additive to give it a visual quality. And those different things, I don't know, maybe they accumulate but I cannot run. I can't have a 2.2 nozzle and have it in service nearly as long as I can have a point 0.4 nozzle.
Oh yeah, for
Really?
sure. That's one
Yeah.
reason my son is so good at changing nozzles is because his zero point 0.2 would clog.
Yeah. I would like to I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to go ahead and see if I can't get my designs and everything to work with a point 0.4 nozzle consistently. And that either means simplifying things or making things bigger. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, you know. I'm making things bigger is looking more and more attractive every day, you know.
So I have a question for you,
Yeah.
and this could be a little awkward because where did we meet?
Let's see here. We met.
I have emails from you in my email box from 2018, but I don't remember where we met.
I think we met at Nova Labs.
Yeah.
You were associated with, you were either associated with CME CNC or it wasn't the Rep Rap Festival just yet.
Could it be Maker Faire? Or also Matter Hackers had a meetup there.
And it was, yeah, either CME CNC or Matter Hackers. I think that was when it was. Yeah. 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 So yeah. Thank you for reminding me of when we did meet. Yes. Yes. Some things that just, you know, stand the test of time. And so here we are, right?
Yeah. And then, you know, for those you don't know, Lawrence and I have gotten to collaborate on a few things where his school was doing every year a 3D printed ornament exchange.
Yes.
And so I had tons of ornaments from my Etsy inventory. So he would let me like show up and participate, and I'd rack up all those little points that I could trade for other ornaments.
Yes.
We did that Blender Bezier workshop, Bezier curves, and the Women in STEM panel.
Right.
That was super
Absolutely.
fun.
Yes. Yeah. And then also you met one of you met I think it was Printed Solid. When did you get the you got a big
the CR10.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we helped you put it together a couple of years. That's what it was. That's what brought you into the lab.
Yeah.
We helped you put that together after I'd heard that you'd had it. I was like, oh, I got some students that we can help you out with that.
It was a very good synergy where I had help to assemble my CR10, and also your students got to have hands-on with the Allen wrenches and the screwdrivers. Right?
Yes. You would be well, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how many people who are under the age now of 30, maybe even 35, just don't know how to use tools like at all. So it was really great for them because they got a real life skill, you know, like if you ever have to, I don't know, replace a doorknob or nothing or something, you have a little bit better chance of zero that to actually be successful for experiences like that. So yes.
I read an article recently. This is a little bit of a deviation from 3D printing about things kids should know before they go to college. And the one that sticks in my mind is like plunging a toilet. Like you should know how to plunge a toilet. But, and I keep telling my kids that, but they're not that enthused about learning that particular life skill. But from your standpoint, from running the Maker Lab, are there ideas like knowing how to use the screwdriver?
Yes, very much so. Knowing how to use a screwdriver, and really demystifying electronics in general. You know, I had some students who actually set up when it was cutting edge, set up Duet 2 boards, Duet 2 Wi-Fi boards. I was like, this is the board. It's got labels on it. That back then I could still see the labels on the boards, but it's got labels on it. And it tells you where everything should be plugged in. This is the wiring diagram, and it matches the board. And that's the printer I want you to put it on. Go put it on there and make it happen. And a couple students came back and they were surprised at themselves that they were able to do that. They thought that only an electrical engineer could do something like that. So, like I said, demystifying, like, okay, come on, electrical engineer, 4 years of college to put together to put together a couple of drive motors and some heaters and stuff like that. This is something that you can handle. So I think that the demystification is a big part of it. I think children, young people grow up nowadays, and technology, even though they use it all the time, is still mysterious, not unrelatable, but still mysterious, like how this works, and things of that nature. And toys nowadays are, all more expensive, but they're so electronic and stuff like that that young people often get told, don't play with this, don't break it, it's expensive. And so that mystifies things over and over and over again. And experiences like the lab pull that curtain down a bit and put people in position to have a lot more comfort just walking around and being a part of their own solution for problems that they have day to day. And
Yeah.
I personally brought that to the lab because I was because of my work in the HVAC field. I was not particularly. Actually, it starts before that. I rebuilt a car when I was about 23 years old, maybe 24. And I took the engine apart, looked at the wiring diagram. It was an Italian car, so the wiring diagram was in English and Italian. It was an Alfa Romeo. And I got the technical book and read the book, and then looked at the car, read the book, looked at the car, and realized that I could understand what was going on. And so, I realized that was a very empowering type of thing to be able to do, to take something that was broken, fix it, and have it work. And so that particular kind of confidence I carried over into HVAC. As a young person, my father was the one that fixed all those things. And when there's somebody his size that's standing over something, you're not gonna see too much, really. And so he fixed fixed the water heater from time to time, or would analyze the boiler and make sure that if there was some kind of problem, he could at least know what was going on with it, those kind of things. And so I never really had that confidence, into undergraduate and graduate school. Then I did that car thing, and then when I got into HVAC, I realized that it was not necessarily, the air conditioning didn't work, first of all, like I thought it did. Okay. I always thought that the thing inside took the air outside and then brought more air inside, and but that's not how it works. It's two separate circuits. So but I got into the HVAC system. I mean, I got to the HVAC field, and I was able to take the classes. And because of what I'd done with automotive, and because of some of the tinkering that I'd done as a kid, I was actually able to understand and comprehend the information and get the certifications and stuff like that. And I actually obviously I've gotten pretty good at it because now I teach the classes. So I think that giving people the ability to demystify things can open up doors that they never had considered before.
I have
Yeah.
2 demystification stories,
Yeah.
one 3D printing, one not.
Mm.
The not one is just that, demystifying can extend to all realms of life, even, like,
Yeah.
the beginning of life. When I was pregnant with my first, 2 children, and took some birth classes, and, because women often give birth in the hospital,
Hmm.
young women and young girls, they don't see the process, and that makes
Yeah.
it even scarier,
Uh-huh.
so, like, getting
Yes.
exposed to and hearing childbirth stories or people's birth stories, positive birth
Right.
stories,
Yeah.
can be very helpful, and if anybody out there needs or knows someone who needs positive childbirth stories, that's me. I
Oh,
had 2
good.
really good medication-free hospital births,
Oh my
so
gosh.
happy to share my experiences if someone needs, like to plant that little positive story in their head to bump out some scary stories. All right.
That's for both parties too, both parents. The demystification is an important thing. Gosh, I'm so it's too bad that we're on the internet. I'd say just between you and me, but it's not true. But like, but after, but like going through childbirth with my daughter, I was reading. I don't know. I read. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be reasonable. 3 books, but
Okay.
they were pretty comprehensive.
We read a lot of
And
books too, yeah.
yeah, and I was like, huh, I don't know. I mean, because at that point in time, I was like, I don't know. I could probably be a doula if I wanted to, but it's obviously a woman's. It's a woman's industry.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean but I probably wouldn't get too terribly many people to take me on as a doula as a man. I definitely would never ever ever do it. Never have the experience, but the knowledge was definitely there. So it just those courses and the classes that I took and everything that that just demystified the process for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I laughed, but absolutely, I think a man like my husband was my support person and he
Uh-huh.
did phenomenal. And,
Mhm.
I could just relax, let my body do its work and let him,
Mhm.
concentrate on
All the
decisions and
other
everything
stuff.
like that. So,
Yeah.
I laughed, but you could totally, you could totally
It's
be a doula.
laughable. It's laughable. It is laughable. The thought came through my head. I guess it's just a testament to the way that things demystifying and bringing down the attention levels and understanding things can bring you so much closer to contributing to other people's experiences too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then pivoting back to 3D printing,
Yes.
my first 3D printers were Maker Gears, and
Uh-huh.
you're not, I had to at one point I had to change the heated bed, and I think
Mhm.
I changed to drive motor or something at one
Mhm.
point.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, there's things that I was kind of scared of with it,
Uh-huh.
and
Mhm.
anytime I did any kind of maintenance, I'm like photo, 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 like so I could see where everything went back
Yes,
together, even though they
absolutely.
had their instructions. But for me, the like real demystification came when I built my Prusa Mark II, and
Oh.
like I found their instructions as detailed as like IKEA, like and is easy
Uh-huh.
to follow. Like Lego, like better than
Yeah.
Lego, and
Right.
yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah, probably even better than IKEA when you have the community posts and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so building that Prusa um, Mark II gave me the confidence because I had some upgrades on the Maker Gear that had been waiting for years and years. I never had the confidence, but once I, worked with the Prusa and
Mhm.
I didn't kill that, then then I was able to go and give my baby some
Some
well needed
upgrades.
upgrades. Yeah.
Wow. I would say that the demystification process and like upgrades and things like that, I was not incident free. So I burned many, 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 many boards. I have burned so many boards that it should be a crime. But I made upgrades to mine too. Like I got a Maker Farm Prusa, which is made of wood that we talked about before. That was my first printer, and it wasn't rails, it was rods and bearings. And the first the what happened for me is I had to put that whole thing together, and the instructions were good. The instructions were good. I knew what I was in for, but I really didn't know how much work it was going to be. But the real excitement came in when I went to change out the extruder and went from a Wade's extruder to like a to a to like a I don't think it was dual drive by the time, but there was an extruder that came out that I could just slap right on there. And when I put the new extruder on, things went faster, they were smoother. Like I really kind of I realized that 3D printing was a pursuit that you could do almost anything that you wanted to with enough patience and with a little bit of improvisation. I went from a Wade's extruder to a Bowden extruder on my Prusa. That's what it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
You mentioned destroying boards.
yeah.
My Achilles heel, what I destroyed the most were cooling fans.
Oh.
'Cause, back in the day, I was doing a lot of filament switches, and you wouldn't
Uh-huh,
believe how many times I'm, like, trying to put the filament in the little hole, and it
uh-huh.
slips, it goes into the cooling fan,
Uh,
and snap, another
no.
blade. And so that came, at the time, I was using multiple processes in Simplify 3D, and so
Mhm.
you can put in your own G code,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was M107, or we'll have to look it up to
The
turn
oh.
off the cooling fan every time I did a filament switch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And memorizing G code and knowing that and understanding that and well realizing that you can I I I was able to I actually learned how to manipulate the firmware on my on my Maker Farm Prusa, and that made me much more confident with the concept of programming. I had tried to teach myself Python several times after that experience because I'm like, it's not a big deal. But I never really got to a proficiency with Python. However, that experience with G code and with the firmware and also with the Arduino software and all those things like that, what I got out of it was I hate to go back to the same idea, but demystification. Like all of a sudden, when people were talking to me about technical things, like you get on if you get on the phone and you're talking with technical service for your computer or what have you, or even if you go to a store, like you go to Micro Center, and you ask the person a question. My experience with programming put me in position to be able to tell like I think most people who are just kind of good. They know about just about everything, or you go to Best Buy and you talk to the salesperson and they tell you the specs, right? But the specs are just what the manufacturer has sent to you. But I'm always coming in with something with a specific question, like I want to do this or I want to do that, and I could tell when it went from manufacturer specs to the person making something up. Like you can tell every time.
Mhm.
So, so it's yeah, when you wind up being able to develop some of that technical knowledge, it can kind of branch off in so many different directions, and you get to do some really great things out there, like make um, designs and things like that, and different ways of and the different processes and things like that that we've all come to know and understand. So yeah.
We have a couple comments here.
Mm,
Um, so Mike, our trusty mod, said wasn't the Wade's extruder the one with the larger gear? Do you know that's
that
out?
is 100% correct.
Okay.
Yes, big gear, probably about 3 inches, 3 inches from top to bottom, 3 inches in diameter. Yes.
Then the next one I can field or weigh in on. Mike is surprised that none of the current slicers have really taken on Simplify 3D's approach of where they had a whole user interface where you
Uh-huh.
could manually place your supports. It was so nice. And
Wow.
you know, um, uh, it is a feature in Simplify 3D that I do miss. I miss some of their multiple processes as well, because with the multiple processes, you could change any setting that you want, and
Huh.
sometimes you're a little limited in the modifiers that you have in
Yes.
3D Slicer
Oh
or
yeah.
whatnot.
Very
Um,
much so.
yeah, but I think it's only one model that I mean, everything else I've been able to get around with support blockers or,
Hmm.
changing support settings. But
Hmm.
my gazebo, there's some where there's just it was so much easier with Simplify 3D where I was like, "Oh, I want to support here, here, here." I don't the other slicers tend to like to put the supports in rails that make it hard for me to clean up. So
Oh yes. Yeah.
still a work
No.
in progress there, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, one day, maybe we'll figure out a way to make our own slicer that will be comprehensive the way that we want it to be. Yeah. Yeah. And so how about you? What kind of stuff have you been doing in the world of this week
Uh,
for 3D printing?
This week I haven't really done much, but Friday I am going on a field trip. I am meeting two of the other 3D Printopia organizers in
Oh,
Philadelphia, and we're going to be meeting with some of the people at the Philadelphia Convention Center and walking
mm,
through the space. And for me personally, this will be the first time that I will see our new venue in person, and
wow.
we'll go across the street and check out the market and all the food options. And
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
do have I need to get the information on Discord and the website, but we do have hotel blocks that we need to spread information on for everybody too.
Wow. Oh, cool. Well, that's going to be an adventure.
Oh my gosh, and
Looking-
I don't think I've shown you have I shown you, Lawrence, that I'm working on a interactive floor map?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, hold on. Yink, we'll do our first sharing of the night. This one's out of date. I need to refresh it, but here we go. We'll share my
And then remind me. I want to talk a little bit about an idea that I have for Hugh Forge.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll write that down. Hey,
Hmm.
I listen to a radio show in the morning called
Uh-huh.
Elliot in the Morning, and very
Yeah.
often Elliot, the main guy, will be like, "Diane, write this down. So and so, write this down." I got a big potted plant blocking my view. But the idea is we have our whole floor plan, which we have like
Wow, that's
100,000 square
enormous.
feet this time, and as I'm moving it, but you can hover over. Let me hover over one that has things, and you can see like who's going to be there, and we can put in descriptions and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
working on that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I would say I'm excited about it too. That is,
Oh, do I know which hall? It is Hall F, I believe.
let's
Yes,
see. So,
Hall F.
all right, good.
Ooh, an RC Maniac has a friend that lives 15-minute walk from the convention center. That's
Oh my
awesome.
God.
And we're
All
hoping
right.
for extra foot traffic, so get your friend to walk on over.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, I when you advertise in local area enough, and maybe even with the local schools, you might be able to get many people to come by.
Yeah, I
Have
hope
you?
so. And
Well,
there's also a Code Ninjas is just like a mile and a half away, so I want to reach out to them as well. Code Ninjas, they do a lot of after school programs with
uh-huh, uh-huh,
um, they'll do stuff with little Arduinos or little robots, and they have
uh-huh.
some of them have 3D printing. The one near me has 3D printing. My kids don't want to sign up for the 3D printing one, but they sign up for their summer camps with Minecraft programming
Oh
and
yeah.
how to be a YouTuber. So they
Hmm.
like kind of marry technology. So I think it'd be great to have some of those kids come by. Maybe they can all do their own derby cars.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I think maybe, I mean, since we're talking about it, I mean, and I'm not part of the committee, so
Hmm.
that's the other thing. But um, I don't see how it'd be too terribly difficult to get in touch with schools within like within a 5-10 mile radius and
Hmm.
tell them about the event, and 3D printed cars and stuff like that. And I think that would be a really good thing. And especially because it's so close, if you have a lot of people living in the area, most cities do, of course, then that'd be a really good, a really good opportunity. We should well, we'll talk about working on that some more, because
Yeah.
and I guess we really need to get that off the ground within the next month or so. Oh, but anyhow, and so what other and so what other so you're gonna go visit the facility. We got the interactive map, and you got the hotel blocks.
Hmm.
And so and the catering, is it gonna be cheesesteak catering, or what do you
We have not discussed that yet. So
okay.
one step at a time.
Yes, of course, of
But that
course.
would be appropriate, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had good barbecue. We have had good barbecue in the years prior, and nice beautiful cakes. So
I'm still pro cake.
yes, yes, very much so. But I think working a cheesesteak or two into the experience is going to really contribute to the authenticity, if you will. Yep. And so and so uh, about Hugh Forge.
Oh, yes.
So I went to see um, the Amy Sherald exhibit. If you don't know her name just by me saying it, Amy Sherald is the woman who painted Michelle Obama's um,
Okay. Okay.
portrait. And so they had it was at the Baltimore Museum of Art. And so I was thinking about, she makes really, really large portraits. So there's one controversial, oh my gosh, portrait that I'm thinking I want to do. Not the same size as my house isn't big enough, but Amy Sherald's.
Oh, here, let me make you bigger.
Okay,
There you go. Do it again.
okay, yeah. So the Amy Sherald's take on the Statue of Liberty. I'm thinking about doing a big hue forge for either my office or my house. Is
Is there a lot of shading in it, or is it solid colors?
all of her all of her skin tones are combinations of black and white. So it kind of plays right into the whole hue forge thing. And then just looking at this picture, I mean, I've got yellow, green, gold, pink, black, white, red, and blue. But it's doable. It's doable. You know, her it seems like her work when it comes to like the singular subject work that she has, it's not like a landscape or anything more elaborate than that. It really does lend itself to a HueForge application.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that she works, and she's kind of she's a bit of a she's a realist. She's an American realist, but she's not somebody that does a whole lot of color mixture in her portraits and in her work. So far, she could of course change, but right now I don't really see a whole lot of change. And I see. Can you pull RC Maniac's quote up 841? So yeah, RC Maniac. The thing about her is that what we just saw is she doesn't really do skin tones. It's literally like black and white to bring out like kind of a gray dynamic in the skin. So what you saw, of course, is like Apple's interpretation of what you go and you see of her work, but there's no skin tones. There's no natural skin tones. Yes.
Is this it?
Yes.
Okay, so on your phone, I didn't even see a face. Like on your phone, I
Uh-huh.
thought like, oh, it's just you could just do it with pink, black, blue.
Right.
So
Right. But
yeah,
pink, white is in there. White is in there.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get the highlights and stuff like that from the white. Like on that thumb that's holding the torch, you can see that there's, she makes the distinction between like the fingernails with white highlights
Yeah.
versus coloring them a skin tone. Yeah, yeah. So
So you're gonna make this big?
well, I'm that is what that is the thing that came to mind, and so yes, the thing that to do is to make it maybe 6 feet tall,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah, but that portrait is something on the order of 18 or 20 feet tall originally. Actually, I'll show you a picture of me standing in front of it. Is it okay? So I mean, hope this doesn't break your camera, but that's me. That's a person's head, and that person and the subject's knee in the picture is just where her head is, right? So
Yeah.
that's a big huge image. Yeah. So yeah, I got some great ideas for 3D printing by going to the museum this weekend.
Well, with 3D printing, you can get inspiration anywhere, pretty much.
Very true. Very true. I feel like recently, like I've been kind of consumed about other things, and that was the first time that something just jumped out at me. The dress, the dress is blue. Is the dress gold or blue?
Yeah, I'll put that up. So I got a good kick out of that too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And so not the only other thing, the other thing that I'm still doing is I'm reiterating to the world my lack of skill in 3D design. Still working with the business classes. I designed the students at Nova. We've got in the business class, one student group came up with the idea of a heated snow shovel that has a heated like edge.
Okay.
So
Were they
I went.
inspired by the snowcrete that we
I'm
had
sure they
in
were. I'm
January?
sure they were. And so I took that idea and put a battery pack on a stick and a coil at the front to show the electricity kind of idea, and tried to make the front yellow, like red for where the hot end was, and yellow for the plastic part. And I finally got it to print. I started the print on Saturday, went to check it on Tuesday, and I was taking off the support material, and like something that I did with the slicer didn't allow for my Tinkercad illustration to actually be a solid part. They didn't mesh boolean together. They became separate parts somehow.
Okay.
So I had it in my hand, and the whole thing just fell apart.
Oh, like maybe there's a tiny little gap between them.
Yes,
They weren't
and
exactly
Tinkercad is good
touching.
for that.
Yeah.
Tinkercad is really, really good for that. So, back to the drawing board. But we're going to get that one done. We're going to get that one done. Yeah, yeah. And then the only other thing, not the only other thing, the other thing that I've been thinking about with 3D printing is that I recently have gotten into indoor plants and like flowering indoor plants.
Okay.
So I started I started seriously trying to grow orchids. I picked up a couple of them, and I just kind of had like just let them be. People were like, "Oh, they're so easy. Just sit them on a table and they'll grow." Right? But that's not true
I've
at all.
never had trouble. I mean, I've always had trouble with orchids, and
Yeah.
some of them they're like just put a ice cube in and let it melt.
Right. Right. Exactly. But what they don't tell you is that the bedding that the plant came from is going to last you like 60 seconds. If you don't get it out of there, you're going to have trouble. And there's all kinds of different stuff. The way that they're grown or manufactured is different from the way that you would raise them in your house. So I learned that after several plants dying, and so I got more serious about the media that they grow in and stuff like that. And now I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if I can 3D print or design a container for an orchid where it would use the plant itself. I mean, but the pot itself would be the media where the plant would get all the water and stuff through turgor pressure and stuff like that, pull moisture in through the roots through something that I had 3D printed. So that's the other thing that I've been thinking about. I got some 3D fuel, some of their high temperature PET G, and that's the next thing that I hope to be able to design poorly in order to is part of my 3D printing practice. So yeah, a lot
So,
of ideas.
I have another thing here, like while you're talking about plants, maybe
Yes.
like fresh meat. The my mom passed
Mhm.
away, and
Mhm.
one of the things I did in I think it was 2018 for Maker Faire, I made
Oh,
planters out of spools. So
oh
my
yeah.
mom
I remember
has
you did that. I remember you did that.
5 of these, and they're filled with
Oh,
spider plants, and they're so thin, they fit really well on windows, like,
right.
not like the windowsill, but, like, between the top half of the window and the bottom half of the window.
Oh, really?
And I like the spool planters, they're neat, but I was just thinking, I was like, "I think I'm ready to part with those 5 planters and those, spider plants." So if you
Uh-huh.
happen to want to house 5 spool planters, that they might be looking for a new home one day.
Okay. And they still have plants in there? Like, they don't
Yeah,
have
they
plants.
have they're all spider plant my mom changed them to spider plants, and
Okay.
they've been doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'd definitely be interested in that for sure.
All right. So
Yeah, yeah.
you're helping with our spring cleaning and
All
tidying
right.
things up.
Oh, great, great, great. Yes, yeah, and speaking of spring cleaning, yeah, I've got the grass is already growing, so oh my gosh, got not looking forward to
Well, it's growing now, but it's gonna freeze tonight. I have baby grass that's finally I finally have baby grass after years of trying, and then it's gonna
Mhm.
freeze tonight. So
Oh no, yeah,
sorry, baby
I didn't
grass.
know it was gonna get that cold.
It's yeah, well, I don't know. I just saw on my Amazon show freeze warnings, and it's on my phone
Okay,
too. Maybe it's not gonna freeze where you're at.
well, I mean, well, we're not that far apart, but you are a little bit more. No, you're not. You're not. If you're gonna freeze, I have a good chance of freezing too. Yeah. Well, I'm my asparagus jumped up like a spring, just kind of like
As I mentioned, asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables.
oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. I don't
we
have
we eat
bales
it
of
at
it
least
just
once
yet.
a week. You
Oh,
don't have
okay.
basil?
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not growing basil. No, no, no. I have terrible luck with basil. Basil burns in my front yard. I don't have any shading for it. Maybe I could put in a tomato plant, but I was just talking with someone about you plant the basil with the tomatoes and then you get rid of the um the the weeds. So
Mm.
I might plant basil this year. We'll see.
We do our basil and our rosemary and cilantro. Boy, we're very off 3D printing, but it's all in pots on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that makes it. Yeah, that makes things much more manageable. I do I do container gardening, and even though it's supposed to be easy and it's not that much square footage, it's true, but it's just it. I in the middle of the summer when it's 85, almost 90 degrees outside when you're coming home, and you see those weeds staring you in the face, and I'm just I'm going inside into the air conditioning. I just walk right by them. You guys can be okay for a little while. So that's indoor planning is much better. Is much better for me because I don't have to fight things. I'll show you. I mean, and okay, let me see. That one's not. I can show you one picture. Well, several pictures, but here we go. I'll show you this one. Okay, so yeah, so this is
that's your orchid.
that's one of them. I'm I have an embarrassing. I don't have an embarrassing number of orchids. If you're an orchid person, I don't have an embarrassing number of orchids. But if you're just walking around the street, I do. I've got 30.
Do you have do you have more orchids than 3D printers then?
Yes, yay, yay, yes, I do. I do. I finally passed that point. Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it can happen pretty quickly. I this time out, you can buy a good size plant, or you can buy seedlings. And I got into the seedling thing. So like I've got 30 of them, but like 14 or 15 of them are pretty small. So the reason I think so much about 3D printing with them is because I I don't want to put myself in position to, I don't know, buy an actual pot. And like, why would I buy a pot? Why would I buy a container that holds stuff when I've got a machine that makes things that hold stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, I think, and when I think about it, the more and more I think about the fact that people who do like plants, also want to be able to minimize how much time they're spending on these things. And if you could come up with the right combination of like a physical delivery of water and nutrients and stuff like that in a very, very straightforward and easy way, that seems like it'd be something that would benefit a lot of different people, including myself. So we'll see. We'll see.
And
Yeah.
you
And there are people who are there's several actually related to 3D printing. Um, I had when I got my first couple of plants, I did print objects that were called yes, yeah, I did. Well, no, oh no, a 3D printer per orchid. Yes, it's gotta be dialed in for each one. That's the smartest way to do it. but the I printed several orchid pots at the time it would have been Thingiverse, and Maker World, and Printables, but Thingiverse primarily. They said orchid pots. I printed it out, and boy, they did not work very well at all. So there are designs out there for plants, but I think that the people who are designing them are designing them for other people that they know, kind of doing like it's a design experiment type of thing. I've seen several people who are advertising orchid pots, and they look a little bit more like they actually could do the job. So, so making a container that actually has holes but will still hold water and all those things like that. Those are the things that really are I'm looking at.
Yeah, so you've got a market
Okay,
there.
there we go. Yeah, no, the story of the killed orchid pot is definitely part of my deal too. Somebody gave me one, and I'm like, what do I do with this? And it held on for an extremely long time, before it gave up the ghost. So they're pretty durable plants, if you just if you can do some things with them, Yeah, not too much water, just enough light, and all that stuff like that. So yeah.
So we're hitting the 51-minute mark, or almost 51 minute and a half.
Yes.
Should we try to do
A tech tip?
demo?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody, remember, this is like impromptu. Like, this was not a planned demo today. So, um, if you recall, earlier this year, we were doing Hedamami headphone party, and one
Mm-hmm.
of the headphones we wanted to do like a chainmail texture on, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the way I did that back in January was in Blender, and my 3D modeling strategy could also be called brute force, because a lot of times I'm like, try this, that didn't work, try that, that sucked, and I just keep
Mm-hmm.
boom, 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 boom until I get there. So
Right.
in Blender, I had to do a whole rigmarole of things here where I created a material, like some materials were color, because I didn't want the texture everywhere, obviously, because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want it inside these holes that we're going to fit the headphones connectors into, and where other pieces are going to be on top of. So, I created materials that are just colors, materials that are going to have the image. I have the texture that I
Mm.
added. Then I had
Wow.
Blender, I had to add a modifier called the displace modifier based on the texture to like physically change the geometry. And of course, for that, RC Maniac knows exactly where this is going. There's a
Oh,
spoiler alert. He knows exactly where I'm going with this.
okay.
Okay. And, also when you're working with these kinds of displacements, you want to have lots and lots and lots of vertices to work with. So you have to do a lot of subdivisions to, like, make a lot of faces so they can, get displaced and,
Oh.
render your pattern as you want. All right. This is just new. There's this new um, site. Let me pull this over here. Oh, wait. Ooh, okay. I'll pull it onto the screen. This is by CNC Kitchen. This is web-based. It's called BumpMesh, and it's there specifically for okay. There specifically for adding textures to your models, right? So I'm like, oh
Right.
my goodness, I could have used this for the head of mommy, and I'm gonna have to. Oh, we don't want to be looking at my taxes. Um, I think I have this in the downloads directory, which could be even worse with taxes.
You got 40. You have a few short days. Oh, 8 days.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we have our. Oh, I already submitted them. Thank goodness.
Oh, good.
Raw files. So we'll just grab one of these close backs. We'll do the one with Mike. So you can pull in your 3D model, right? And
Uh-huh.
you can start adding your textures.
Wow.
And at first when I was seeing this, I was like, this is it. this is like saves so much time. And I'm like, oh no, like,
Right where
like
you
it's
don't
gonna put
need
the
it.
texture here. They have a feature for that already, which
Oh,
down here you can have by surface exclude. And this is so intuitive, by the way, that
oh,
I have not watched his video on it yet. Just like playing with this, I was
uh-huh.
able to do what I wanted to do. Not like uh with Blender as I'm working,
Yes, you gotta
probably
just
like Googling at the same time
yes.
or watching videos or asking Claude AI for direction or whatnot. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're able to come in here and you can say, hey, everywhere that I'm drawing here, you can exclude and you can do it
Wow.
by single faces or by circle, which you can make the circle bigger. I mean, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
So I have
Wow.
one that I finished earlier today, and
Oh,
it didn't even it barely took any time, right? And then you
wow.
can just go through and add your texture and,
Hmm.
um, oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna have to redo some edamames too, and you can upload your own map. So, I can upload my same chainmail if I wanted to, and
uh-huh.
yeah,
Wow.
just super duper easy,
Wow.
and
And then
anybody can do it, yeah.
and this downloads you download it as an STL or an SVG. What kind of file do you get off of this?
What's that? Oh, you know what? I don't think I was so excited. I don't think it's STL. I don't think I was so excited.
Okay.
I don't think I don't think
Wow.
I actually downloaded one, but
Oh, really? That's beautiful. Okay. I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Really like that. So you can make wood grain or
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's they have a lot of built-in ones up here.
uh-huh.
I don't want to mess. Oh yeah. Can do mess this one up. So you can do they have wood, different kinds of wood.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And with that now, am I seeing two different colors? Can I assign colors to
Oh, the colors are where it's not gonna be textured or
no, I'm
whatnot.
saying within the green, like I see a little bit darker green, a little bit lighter green. Maybe that's just the effect of the light.
I think that's the shading, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
But you can do colors on your edamame too. That's
Uh-huh.
also a
Yeah.
convoluted blender process. Um,
You
that's
don't say.
rated, hold on. Let's see here. Um, do I have it open? Don't save.
Huh. Okay.
Well, oh, because the screen is over here on a different window. I was looking at the wrong place.
Okay.
Okay, so opening, let's do this. So these are my headphones. This is
Mhm.
also, yeah, this is an even more convoluted Blender process where I'm using UV mapping. So I
Mhm.
have in edit mode, you can mark your seams that
Oh,
where you want um, Blender can unwrap things for
okay.
coloring. I mean, it's
Oh,
not just Blender that can do that, and it can do it automatically for you, or you can control. And if you look, if you, can you see like red outlines here?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
those were where I just went through and said, this is where I want to cut my seam. So when we
Uh-huh.
go to UV editing mode, you can see
Oh my
over
gosh.
yeah, on the right-hand side, that's the actual face that I wanted to color, and,
Uh-huh.
I have my image pattern. Background with my image pattern, I, wanted to do something to give homage to mountain laurel, which is, one of my favorite hiking flowers, and
Mhm.
I drew what I wanted, and I threw it over to the AIs, and they did not deliver what I wanted. So I ended up just making it myself in GIMP and everything like that.
Oh.
So, once I have my pattern and everything here, it's it, it might look fine in the interface, but it's not saving. What I
Oh,
had to do was add a new color attribute to all my
whoa.
vertices, and then I used geometry nodes to take the sorry, see, I
Mm.
told you convoluted. Maybe one day CNC Kitchen will have a good app for this too, where it's just taking the image texture and it's storing that color into the value of my little color attribute. And then we're not
Oh,
done yet. Once I have
okay.
all these colors that are defined with the different vertices, when you go to export your model,
Hmm.
going back, you're are you sad that you asked?
No, no, this is great.
When you go to export, you can export as an OBJ file.
Okay.
And already, if you're familiar with Blender, you have to hit selection only if you only want to export what you have highlighted. But your
Uh-huh.
new step here is if you want to export the color information, you can check the colors too. And so when it saves the file, your color information is going to be embedded into like a material file with it.
Oh, really?
Then let's pull this over. Uh, Probably the slicer feature that I get the most return out of my investment on is in Bambu Studio. They have an OBJ import with colors.
Uh-huh.
So I can go ahead and import my OBJ. We'll do our hedabami. And just as an FYI, you don't need to do this in Blender. Tinkercad also exports OBJ files with
Yes, it
colors.
does. Yeah.
Okay. So by default, it's doing 32 colors, which I don't really need, so
Uh-huh.
I can move it down.
Hmm.
And very often it's trying to like make its own unique color, and I can go ahead and say, no, I want you to be number 3. I want you to be number 1. I want you to be 2, and I want you to be 4. Oops, want you to be 4. You go in,
Oh my
and then I
goodness.
have my colors.
Wow. Oh, it's awesome.
Looks like I messed up the black, but we're there. Anyways,
Oh.
so there's very frequently, like I work with a lot of houses that are now in color, so
Hmm.
I color them in Blender, and maybe they're just not. It's not usually this complicated with image maps. Usually, I'm
Hmm.
just doing materials files, like oh, like this face is this solid color, this face is this solid color. It's not relying on an image,
Uh-huh.
and so that you don't need to do all the geometry node fun. You just
Hmm.
export it and mark your colors, and
Hmm.
so yeah, a lot of what I'm working with, I make my colors in Blender and then I import it in through the
OBJ file.
OBJ file in Bambu Studio.
Wow. That's wow. That I admire the level of expertise and experience that I can see and what
Oh,
brings us into reality.
and we've got ready. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. There's 2 people. They say so. Have we seen the full color spectrum printing? Have we seen the full color spectrum printing?
No.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
Okay, who just did it recently on Twitter? Was it Recreator 3D? Let's see her. Oh man. So what it's doing is it's alternating layers, very
Uh-huh.
small layers, and it's giving you, ah, here we go, found one. Okay, let's pop this over here. Um, so it's
Wow.
switching colors between layers. Actually, chat, you know what? I haven't looked into this too much. So if I am saying anything inaccurate, please chime in here. Um, but my understanding is it's like switching the colors between layers and
Mm-hmm.
dithering and pulling off this effect with
Huh.
different shades.
And so the full color spectrum printing that is with Bamboo now.
I think this examples I've been seeing were Snapmaker.
It's not. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is. It's the hue for it. We've gone over the kind of this kind of concept several times. Not most recently with HueForge, but we had a guest on that that did color switching early on. The math teacher did color switching, and to get to and did dithering, and you've done the same thing in the past too.
Hmm.
But this is this, am I looking at what I can imagine be like a 5 by 5 millimeter cube that is the same color from top to bottom?
Um,
Or am I looking at flat layers or something that is like maybe a max of
oh,
one
I think
millimeter?
these are the cubes, but I think they're on their side. Like I could think you can
Yeah.
see.
Okay, that is
Uh,
different. That
yeah.
is different. Yeah. Wow. Well, that I really like that idea. Huh.
Yeah, and someone saying the Girari 3D, um, Joey who
Mhm.
did the drawers, we had him on
Yes.
that he's
Yes.
done it on a preset XL.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, and
so flat
we should have
layers.
had Tech Jeeper. We should have had all of you in the chat join
Right.
over here.
I bought a CMYK set from Bamboo Labs maybe about a year ago, but I couldn't I was using that in the HueForge software, and I wasn't able to get this full color like what I'm seeing here.
Mhm.
But these are primary colors though, and CMYK is different a little
Mhm.
bit. Oh wow, okay. Well, the if you with full something like this, you kind of the utility of multicolor like expands profoundly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we do have the little heads up from RC Maniac that you can expect a lot of purge.
Yes. Yes, 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 indeed. And now, and with something like this, it starts to make a little bit more sense to have to work on not having nearly as much purge when you are 3D printing, when we're looking at an application like this. Yes, indeed. Huh. Wow. Well, that is great. That is great. And so with putting on the color mapping and going back and forth with the with the CNC kitchen, right? CNC kitchen is the one that you were using to put the,
Yes. And
yeah.
you just reminded me I did not put the bump mesh link into the chat, which
Okay.
we know at least one person already knows about it.
Okay, great. All right. Wow. Well, the hour does go about pretty fast, even
I
without a guest.
know we did it. We
Yeah.
did it without a guess. That's yay us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now I'm thinking with that, with the full spectrum printing, I might be able to print actual representative flowers.
Hmm. Maybe it'll have you rethink your statue or your
Yeah. My Hugh Forge portraits that I got cooking up in my
yeah.
mind. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
Oh,
well,
I guess we should wrap up, right?
yeah, yeah.
I think our next episode is going to be May 5th. And yeah, let me get our little banner going.
Okay.
And here we go. Ready? Show. Oh, let me.
All right.
There we go. All right. Hey, thank you everyone for joining us for this unusual episode of How Would You Slice That and
Yeah.
weathering my impromptu demo. And yeah, and thank you for helping keep the conversation going and filling in the blanks with the full spectrum printing and whatnot.
Cool.
And I did see the idea of like suggesting to CNC Kitchen that maybe we do the image mapping next. And hey,
Ah,
if he wants to make the process less convoluted for me, I am all for it. So
I
maybe
would be very
we'll
much for that too.
mention it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So How Would You Slice That streams live on Tuesdays that are prime numbers, like 7, and the next one is going to be May 5th. and we'll see. Maybe, hopefully, our guest is for tonight is uh, well and doing okay, and maybe we can get him to come on board on May 5th. But if not, we'll get someone else for you.
Absolutely.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it. And we'll
Goodness.
get to hear about your field trip, which is
Oh yeah, I'll take pictures. I will take pictures
good.
of the
Convention
convention
center.
center when we go visit on Friday. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for coming, and thanks, Vicky, for hosting and showing us the mapping and the different techniques, and just let me know how much I don't know about design still, but it's okay.
But
It's
it's
okay.
getting easier and easier. Just take a model and upload it to BumpMesh and do your
And put my stuff on there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. And I wouldn't have known that if we didn't take the opportunity for us to talk for you to tell us about those edamame. So that's great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.